Right, we're here with Mr. Smith, trainer at the Ibox gym. We're just in his back garden here, Al. We have a few of your family pets in the background.
Yeah, a couple of over there, isn't there?
Now, talking of car horses, no, seriously. Right, we're going to run through your gym a bit, because it's been a real sort of changing or movable feast recently. The old guard have kind of shifted along. Now you've sort of got a youth team that's come in, or as I called them earlier on, the Grange Hill mob.
Yeah, definitely.
But, they're a great bunch of lads and they look like real talents. We're going to go through them a little bit. But first of all, we'll start with a little negative, because you said, but Jake Pettit has picked up a little injury, so he's going to be out for a while. Yeah,
he's picked up an injury in his elbow, unfortunately, and he's really made some strides lately. And the team have been really patient with him, and I've got so much belief in Jake, but he's picked up an injury and he might be back for a few months. So it's a bit of heartache for everyone, because they wanted to see him box, and he had a great performance last time.
Good, didn't he?
Yeah, very, very good. And but he'll be back. You know what I mean? So he's got our full support.
It's difficult for him though, isn't it? I suppose it's just got to keep that motivation going now, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely, and keep away from them pies. Jake with his weight a little bit, but he's gifted and talented enough, and he's only young. He's had no hard fight, so he's got a month without doing anything. His arm's in a brace, his cartilage in his elbow, but a month on getting back in, and he might get before Christmas. I spoke to Frank and Francis and everything, and they're going to give him the opportunity, and they've been patient with him, and that's the big thing, that he's got a team that care and support him.
Great stuff. Now let's go through some of this Grange Hill mob now.
You have to remind me, because I'll probably forget one.
Well, we'll start off with Ginge, aka Mickey Burke Jr. Made his debut fairly recently at the O2. Now you told me, and he told me as well, but he's got a bit of a bull in a china shop about him. But he was quite controlled on the night, wasn't he, over the 4 rounds?
Yeah, definitely. He likes to have a bit more of a tear up. He reminds me of a young Johnny Garton, but with more experience than Gary Walkham, my former British champion. Both liked a little bit of a tear up. He can box, he comes from the Repton. So I just think he needs to use that a little bit more, because you just don't want too many hard fights early on. So I was pleased with him. It was a couple of negatives, but that was just very minor, but that's me being critical. But yeah, really pleased with him. And see him spar tonight. He had a very hard spar against, I think it's Florian.
Florian Marcoux.
Yeah, a real hard spar, a little bit heated. But that's boxing for you. And that will put him in good stead later down the line. And, it's just about him learning each time he gets in there, different styles and different attributes.
And of course, he's out of the Albert Hall, isn't it? Mickey, is he in Albert Hall or York Hall?
He's at the York Hall on the 14th of September. Yeah, he's on there. So, he makes his second fight. A great venue for me. Probably one of my favourite venues. So, I like it. They've had some great nights there, great atmosphere. And obviously, Lucien Reid's in the British title fight there. So, it's good to support his teammate.
Now then, someone we met for the first time tonight, young Ethan James. He's travels down from Northampton. I asked him how he came to be here, and a bit unconventional. He sort of said he phoned Dennis because he was a bit fed up with the amateurs, and got put in touch with you from there, and you put him in with Francis or Frank, and it's all gone from there. Tell us about him.
Yeah, Ethan James is an incredible amateur. I don't follow him, I don't even watch the amateurs, but Dennis said, look, please, he's a good kid, have a look at him. I liked him as a person first, which makes a difference to me. I think he had 76, 171. He's won about 7 or 8 national titles. He's a little bit different than the rest. He needs a little bit more time, and he's with Andy Allen as a manager. So I think that suits him, and he's very patient, quite caring. And he's in a good weight category at light welterweight, the 10 stone division. And you see tonight, he sparred some good kids. He's had it a little bit tough. He sparred Sam Noakes and everyone else. So I think he would be a good addition. But I'm just going to take a different route with him. He's a good counter puncher. And I think he'll grow into a big fighter. Yeah, tippy-tappy as normal. But yeah, I think he'll do really well.
Now then, you mentioned the name. I don't think he's been actually formally announced yet, but he's on the shows coming up. Sam Noakes, another new addition to your ranks. Now this one, you reckon, is a proper bull in a china shop? Yeah,
I was told about Sam Noakes about a year ago. You got to see this kid. He's an incredible puncher. Listen, he's not the most skillful, and he admit he's a little bit like a mixture of. He fights like Rocky Martin, a bit smaller, and Aaron Pryor, aggressive and not as smooth as Leonard or Brad or someone like that. So just taking comparisons but he's the most strongest kid I've ever seen. He's dropping to lightweight. He's won the ABAs at 64, which is the 10-stone division in the amateurs. But he is the strongest kid I've ever seen. I mean, his knockout ratio is incredible, and he don't just knock him out, he stopped them. He won the senior ABAs, the Tri-Nations, the NABCs, and all by knockout. He'll be exciting, but again, he's got a lot to learn, but I don't think he'll be in a dull fight. I think, if I had hair, I'd lose it definitely with him. But I'm so excited. He's a good-looking boy, great character, and a nice boy to be around, so good fun.
It's like you say, if nothing else, he's going to be a lot of fun to watch, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. But I think he's got the desire. He trains as hard as the rest of them in the gym, maybe a little bit harder. He always wants to do that extra session on a Saturday morning or a Sunday. So he wants to put that time in, and he's pleased with himself, and he's not. If he doesn't get his own way, he's not angry or he's not disappointed. There's some kids in the gym, they don't spar well and they'll beef on it. But he just is this learning curve. I love his attitude.
We'll get to him now. Little Dennis. He's putting on a show again for us all here tonight. He's just a great character, and you can't help but warm to him, can you?
No, I mean, Dennis, he's an outstanding talent, but he's very young, and I think that everyone's got gets carried away with the point that he's stopping his kids, and his last opponent he should have stopped it in that fashion, and I would have been disappointed if it had gone to round 2. But he has got it all. His character, he's charismatic, he listens, he wants to learn. I think I work for him. I do his tickets, he's in the office, he's swinging around in the chair. My wife does his washing. He's a great kid, but a great prospect. But he always wants to learn. He's a million questions and a really, really nice kid to be around.
I mean, Frank Warren always says, let's not get carried away. We've seen loads of them in the past, but even he admits, but this one looks a little bit, got something a bit special about him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's the current British champion in his weight who's outstanding. You've got Lee McGregor in his weight who's outstanding. But both of them are incredible fighters as well. But, Dennis is a long way off of that, but he settles himself a little bit different. Sometimes you can be as good as someone else or a little bit below par, but you have the whole package. And for me, I think he's got everything. And personality makes a difference as well. And I just think he's got it all. I think Frank, everyone else, all the matchmakers and the fans take to him. BT Sports as well, MTK, his management. I just think that with the right team behind him that he's got, he could, if he's patient, he's guided correctly, he'll be a fantastic, be a superstar.
Well, I think that's the Grange Hill mob dealt with. So moving on to slightly older boys, Qivana Jocko. He's got a couple of fights in. He's got a couple of fights in recently, hasn't he? He went over to Belfast to fight at the Ulster Hall. Fought before that in London. So I mean, he's getting his fights in now. It's got to be important.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Qivana Jocko seems to be the forgotten one, really, but he's the most gifted kid in the gym by far. Talent-wise, 150 fights, maybe 16 losses. WSB senior elite champion in Ireland, boxed in the World Games. He put in a really good performance in Belfast against a really tough boy, and I thought he looked sensational. I thought he boxed the best on the night, but he's willing to be in the background. He lives in a pub here, away from his family, doesn't moan, doesn't groan, helps out all the younger ones. You see him help me in the corner tonight. I've got massive hopes for him, and we're going to try and get him to light middleweight. He won the elites at 82s, which is light heavyweight, and he's down to middleweight. If he can reach that light middleweight, which his strength trainer and conditioner are trying to do, Cameron Joff, he could be the absolutely outstanding force in the lightweight middleweight division.
He'll certainly be a big unit down there, wouldn't he?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's not the biggest middleweight, but size. I mean, we've been over sparring at Adam Booth, and Adam said, he's unbelievable. But sometimes size don't matter. But we'll just do it scientifically and with his conditioners and everything to make sure we get it right. But he's to live here on your own. I remember other kids coming across and struggling. We had a couple of South African boys 15, 20 years ago, and it was hard for him. And he's got a good base here with all the rest of them, and he comes round for dinner sometimes. He's round Saturday to watch the Yardley fight, and I think he has it all. I just think he's just got to just be a little bit lucky. Sometimes he's in the middleweight division is super hard, and I think the light middleweight division is a little bit easier.
Now then, a recent convert to your cult was Lucien Reid.
Now
Now he's come to you and he's after a couple of disappointments with cuts and everything else, he's landed himself a double title shot against Brad Foster at the York Hall. So, I mean, he's in a good place right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, Lucien Reid come from Adam Booth, and to me, I think Adam Booth is probably one of the best trainers in the country, you know, if not the best trainer in the country. And he just found it a little bit too far to travel. Adam rang me and said, look, could I help out? And I was more than willing to help him out. This title come along. You know, he hasn't got the greatest skin. Danny Hunt, who's from Southend, who was a great kid who Frank managed, and he had, I think, 21 and but he had a little bit of skin problem. Lucien has that little bit, but he's been well schooled. He's an ABA senior champion. He trains immensely hard. Brad Foster is an incredible champion. I'm a fan. You know, I like his old school attitude. He's quiet. I think he's got a nice team around him. It's a very hard task to win, but he's got the style that probably won't suit Brad Foster. So it should gel well on the night. He's really up for it. We could have waited longer. MTK managed Lucien, and they said, look, wait a little bit. But I think if he's going to win, he's going to win now.
I think he needs it for his own sort of...
Exactly, yeah. And I've got all the faith in him. You know, his weight's really good. He's sparred well. He's been sparring 10 and 12 rounds with the likes of everyone in the gym, and he's sparring again tomorrow. So I think he's got it hard. I don't think it's easy, but he has the ability to pull off this surprise.
Right, one we didn't see here tonight. Give us a little update on Lerone Richards. How is he? Yeah,
he's fine. He's in the gym. He's going to come in tomorrow. I think that he's been made mandatory for the British title against Lennox Clark. I know Lennox is a nice kid. Sparred him with Bradley Skeete for the Sam Egerton fight, so I know all about him. He's just waiting for that to go to Perspit or to sort out with Frank, and then that'll be maybe October or something like that. So it's a good fight. Nothing's ever easy, but Lerone Richards is probably for me one of the best super middleweights in the country by far, and I think everyone knows that. So I expect him. I don't think he should win it. You can never tell, but he should go way past British level. Right,
I hope I haven't missed any of the current crop. We'll just have a quick word on the old guard to see how they are. Talk to me a little bit, or give me a little update on Johnny Garton and Bradley Skeete. How are the old boys?
In the pub? No, not really. So John's still in the gym. So we're going to give him a run out. We spoke to Andy and Francis. We're going to give him a run out, probably about October. See how he is. We've had a couple of offers and fights. John's had a long career. And he trains harder. So we're going to give him a run out, see where we are with him. Most importantly is that he's happy, we're happy. I'm meeting Brad for dinner next week, so we'll talk to Brad. And Brad said that he wants to come back. At the moment, he's just training.
How many courses he orders?
Yeah. We'll probably have a couple of beers, and I think me, Ricky Boyle, and Adam Dingsdale, John, and Ed are all going out the old crew. So it'd be quite nice to catch up and have a few beers. So I don't think they'll box after that. We feed them up a little bit.
Nice trip down memory lane.
Yeah, it'd be really nice.
Alan, thank you very much, sir.
Cheers, Richard. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.